Someone has forged your name.
I think so.
Your signature may have been forged, and you may not even know it.
Confirmed 10 fake signatures with more that appear suspicious. Did you sign?
No, sir.
I did not.
Someone has forged your name.
I think so.
We're surprised to even see that their signature was on something they didn't sign.
Feel violated.
Someone has forged your signature.
Yeah.
It's just clearly not the way I signed my name.
Also confirmed that these signatures are not theirs.
In another forged signature investigation.
Did you forge any signatures?
No.
Was arrested because the Attorney General's office thinks he did forge signatures.
Did you sign this petition?
No, I did not.
If there's a forged signature and a pattern of signatures, so not just one person, but that there's multiple forged signatures there.
Well, I got a bot on the phone again today. He again denied any forgeries, and per usual, when it comes to this topic, he asked me to leave.
So the amount of money online crime generates is significant, and that means that the online criminals can actually afford to invest into their attacks.
Maybe this can stop this happening to somebody else. I don't want anyone else to walk into what we had to.
So what we need to start doing is shifting to protect, promote, and gather ourselves together to come to a more emergent solution.
Someone has forged your name.
I think so.
Your signature may have been forged, and you may not even know it.
Confirmed 10 fake signatures with more that appear suspicious. Did you sign?
No, sir.
I did not.
Someone has forged your name.
I think so.
We're surprised to even see that their signature was on something they didn't sign.
Feel violated.
Someone has forged your signature.
Yeah.
It's just clearly not the way I signed my name.
Also confirmed that these signatures are not theirs.
In another forged signature investigation.
Did you forge any signatures?
No.
Was arrested because the Attorney General's office thinks he did forge signatures.
Did you sign this petition?
No, I did not.
If there's a forged signature and a pattern of signatures, so not just one person, but that there's multiple forged signatures there.
Well, I got a bot on the phone again today. He again denied any forgeries, and per usual, when it comes to this topic, he asked me to leave.
So the amount of money online crime generates is significant, and that means that the online criminals can actually afford to invest into their attacks.
Maybe this can stop this happening to somebody else. I don't want anyone else to walk into what we had to.
So what we need to start doing is shifting to protect, promote, and gather ourselves together to come to a more emergent solution.
It was that the clock has now struck 9:15 a.m. and it is time for us all to wake up to the dangers that exist in terms of your digital identity and your digital security. My name is Jonathan Case. I'll be your host here today, and it'll be my pleasure to go through some of the challenges that we face and a new way forward with digital signing. Well, why is this so important? First of all, digital technology is what we rely upon for our everyday lives, whether it is to book our next vacation, communicate with our friends and family, conduct business, or even attend an event like this today. It has become the backbone of convenience and our lives, especially now in the pandemic-stricken new normal. However, are we also becoming a little bit blindsided to its potential risks and dangers? Today, we're going to explore a new way forward with digital signing. And it is all the more relevant because your digital signature is something which represents you. When you apply it to a document, you are providing your approval to an arrangement that can have serious financial, legal, and reputational implications for you or your company. And with the rise of online hackers, the dangers of your digital signature being forged or of the document that you sign being tampered with after you sign it is greater than it's ever been before. This new way forward with digital signing comes in the form of SigningCloud. And we're very proud to have with us today the CEO of SigningCloud, who's going to tell you a little bit about the platform. Let me first tell you a little bit about him. Aside from his role as the CEO of SigningCloud, he's also the co-founder of its parent company, Secure Metric Berhad, which is one of the leading names in regional digital signing solutions. Also, he is the co-founder of ASEANFIC, a non-for-profit initiative which educates financial institutions and provides a cross-sharing knowledge platform for them to improve their best practices when it comes to digital security solutions. Let's welcome Mr. Edward Law.
Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to join us today for the activation campaign of our SigningCloud version 2. So first, let me share my screen for my session. Just a moment. All right. So about 1 year and 21 days ago, we launched our SigningCloud on the 28th of July last year. And since then, we have received a lot of valuable feedback, opinions, and recommendation from our prospect, our customers, partners, and very importantly, our staff member. Thank you to you all. You have helped us to make our SigningCloud better. Today is the activation of our latest version of SigningCloud that we have spent the past 1 year to overhaul the entire system inside out. We have improved the backend system, revamped the backend system, not only to achieve better performance, but also at higher security. At the same time, to get ready SigningCloud to support for our upcoming overseas expansion with the flexibility together for localization. As per to date, we have already acquired more than 5,000 registered users, and we believe with the SigningCloud version 2, starting from today, we will be able to aim for much more. And at SigningCloud, we will continue to commit with our dedicated R&D to continue to improve SigningCloud to be as comparable to our Western competitors as possible. We will also start our overseas expansion by setting up local instances into some of the selected Southeast Asia very soon. And in SigningCloud, our team will hold the belief and target of winning the minds, winning the industry, and winning the partnership. And we believe with all this commitment, we are optimistic to move forward to continue promote SigningCloud to become one of the famous universal signing, digital signing platform. Eventually, one day, we will be able to support businesses within Southeast Asia to be able to conclude cross-border business deal completely digital. Not only we have improved on the backend system, but we also have done many enhancements on the existing features. Just to highlight a few, You will expect a complete fresh look and feel with our modern design for the user interface and much improved and simplified user experiences on our web portal and also our mobile application. We have also further simplified the document creation flow, which means now at lesser step and lesser action, you can already complete a document and just wait for the signatures. We have improved, the template creation flow by adding in the support to allow users to insert predefined signature fields, which means now users can simply select one of their regularly used templates and just reassign the signers and it's good to go. We also have improved with better document signing experience and also the search function, which will allow users easily can locate any of the document within SigningCloud. And lastly, we would like to welcome PostDigital to become our new trusted CA to be on board from now onwards, all right, for users who would like to perform qualified digital signature, they can already choose among MSC Trustgate or PostDigital. Document that signed using qualified digital signature will be fully compliant to Malaysia Digital Signature Act 1997. Not just about enhancement, we also have added many new features, such as we have improved, additional flow for the signature request aiming for first-time signer. For instance, if you are sending a document to someone who have yet to have an account in the SigningCloud, do not worry. We have incorporated the new account sign-up process into the signature request. Just with a few more steps, a first-time signer can eventually sign up a new account and also to complete review and signing the document at the same time. We have added a support for Microsoft SharePoint and FSCO. So means for enterprises who are using SharePoint or FSCO can now start enjoying the limitless digital signing experiences by simply sign in and within the eDMS that they are using for day-to-day operation. We also have added support for personal OneDrive and FSCO. And for bulk signing, I'm sure these will be the features that liked by many bosses because bosses can now sign multiple documents just within seconds. With SigningCloud version 2, we are now also allowed the signer to change and set their own preferred two-factor authentication. They can choose either SMS OTP, mobile OTP, or push notification. And this will be used to authenticate the signer whenever he or she wish to initiate any digital signature. We have added a new feature called forward signer. This will be useful in the event if there is any designated signer unable to perform the signing, he or she can reassign to other people provided with the approval from the document creator. We also added this space control mechanism. This will be useful. This will be in line with our new pricing model. So, ladies and gentlemen, for SigningCloud version 2, not only we have done a complete back-end system revamp to achieve better performance at higher security, also the same time to get ready with the flexibility to support for localization when we move on to our overseas expansion. We have also added a lot of enhancement, right, for our existing features. We have many brand new features, but at the same time, we have also decided to revamp the price model to even make it more affordable and highly competitive. okay, to allow users to enjoy limitless digital signing experiences. Even now, with a free account with SigningCloud, you can already enjoying unlimited signers with unlimited documents to be signed using SigningCloud ID. We are hoping with this new pricing model, we will be able to encourage the business community to start adopting legal binding digital signatures. And very importantly, we hope this can also help many micro and small enterprises to start benefiting from digital signing in view with urgent needs for them to digitalize their business processes in this very difficult moment. We hope to do our part to promote further the adoption of digital signatures. Many may ask, why SigningCloud? Isn't it the e-signature industry have been crowded with many global leading players such as DocuSign, HelloSign, or even Adobe Sign? However, we believe the market is huge. Just looking at the global level, the current market size is already estimated up to $50 billion with 20 to 25% CAGR. Even just look at ASEAN itself. The e-signature market size already estimated up to $2 billion. And in Malaysia, we have the obtainable market up to 80 million. In SigningCloud, we believe the market is so huge that there's still plenty of room for us to fight for. Not just about market size. You look at Southeast Asia, basically all the government in Southeast Asia are moving strongly to promote digital transformation in their country, with many of them already have clear directive and roadmaps started to execute. Just look at Malaysia. We have the My Digital Blueprint that have been introduced by our Prime Minister just a few months ago with a very clear indication with the government intention to promote the adoption of digital signature across public sectors, even with a very clear target set for full adoption of digital signature by 2025. So with all these highly encouraging and motivated factors, we believe the future for SigningCloud is bright and highly potential. In SigningCloud, we will continue to commit with our dedicated R&D to continue to improve SigningCloud to even better than any of the competitors out there. At the same time, we certainly will start to move on with our aggressive marketing campaign, which also will include our overseas expansion by setting up local instances into the selected Southeast Asia country, and also continue to recruit more trusted CA and more trusted eKYC provider. And we believe by holding strong and aim towards winning the minds, winning the industry, and winning the partnership, one day we will be able to make our dream come true and to make SigningCloud to become the Southeast Asia de facto universal digital signing platform that will be able to support business community to execute cross-border legal binding digital signatures. With that, I would like to end my session. Thank you for listening. Remember, do go and sign up for a free account and start experiencing digital signature at no cost. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope you will enjoy the following sessions. Thank you very much. SigningCloud, sign with confidence. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Edward. And I think Edward has just delivered the selling pitch right there, guys. If you are interested in what SigningCloud can do for you or your business, you'll see a little QR code on the top right-hand side of your screen. Scan there, download the app. It could not be simpler. Or if you're online on your desktop, head on over to signingcloud.com. Like Edward said, it could not be easier to sign up for a free account. And with that free account, I promise 0 ringgit down payment, 0 ringgit per month. You get up to 4 signatories per document and up to 1 gigabyte of storage. So that's perfect for really any small or medium-sized business, but especially the micro enterprises that are out there. We know that at this time, with the pandemic, with the new normal, you've had to adopt new digital ways of working. SigningCloud could be a solution in many ways for you. And you know what? Eventually, it could also be your route to undertake cross-border business and deliver legal, enforceable contracts that work across different borders, opening the doors to your regional and global expansion. Now, of course, this is a big decision to make. And you may be wondering, after all this is said and done, aside from the digital signing solution and the security that it gives me, am I really going to feel the benefit after the pandemic is over and things go back to normal? Good question. Please fix your eyes on this video as we take you through some of the other benefits of SigningCloud, unexpected ones, but ones that will also unleash the full power of you and your business. Check out the video.
Do you still rely on traditional signing for your important documents? It's time for a change. SigningCloud is an all-round universal signing platform for professionals from all walks of life, ranging from legal, financial, governmental, and real estate sectors, as well as any other industries. SigningCloud proudly supports multiple electronic Know Your Customer eKYC and Certificate Authority CA providers with plans to expand further in the future. The traditional way of getting documents signed is way too slow, costly, and tedious. SigningCloud helps simplify your signing process, making it easy, breezy, and hassle-free. With just a few simple clicks, your documents can be viewed, checked, and signed. Thanks to digital signing, users can e-sign their documents securely. And with ease, SigningCloud helps you save paper, time, and resources. Your document security and confidentiality is a top priority for us, so fret not about protecting your sensitive information. SigningCloud is specially engineered to keep all of its users' information secure and safe by adhering to the strictest security standards in the industry. SigningCloud allows its users to sign documents electronically in conformity with the Electronic Commerce Act 2006 and Digital Signature Act 1997 in Malaysia. Not sure if the e-signature generated via SigningCloud adheres to your country's local laws and regulations? Just check with us. SigningCloud uses strong two-factor authentication to verify the authenticity of signers. The platform is also equipped with multi-layered encryption to ensure that your data security is always maintained. Here's how to get started. Step 1. First, choose your document type. Upload your documents to SigningCloud. Step 2. Add your document's recipients, including yourself if you're a signer too. Then place the necessary fields. Step 3. Click Send and your recipients will receive the documents for secure signing. Once all signers have completed the process, SigningCloud's tamper-proof features ensure that your document is locked and any changes are easily detectable using a common PDF viewing tool. Enjoy an unlimited document and unlimited signer experience at SigningCloud, from contracts to deals to agreements. Signed, sealed, and delivered in just a few simple steps. Ready to get started? Go to signingcloud.com and sign with confidence.
SigningCloud. Sign with confidence.
And voila, what a little catchy video. If you found yourself caught by that, please head on over to the QR code on the top right of your screen. Scan there to download the app, or go straight to your Google Play Store or Apple App Store, or go on your desktop to signingcloud.com and sign up for this free experience so you can sign with confidence. And you know what? Here's the unexpected part, right? You thought it was just about digital security? Well, it's so much more than that. It's also a repository for all the documents that you need within your business. And on top of that, it helps you operate way more efficiently. Because you know what? Why do we actually need to print out so much paper? Why do we need to purchase ink? Why do we need dispatch boys, for that matter? At the end of the day, all of these processes take up a lot of your time. They take up your money. They take up physical storage space. And at the end of the day, they increase your carbon footprint and the chances that your valuable documents could be stolen or tampered with. So this is the time, if there ever was a time, to adopt digital transformation and start that, guys, with digital signing. All right, so now that you've learned a little bit more about what SigningCloud has to offer, let's have a bit of a broader discussion about your security online and that of your business. These are difficult decisions to make, and especially if you run a larger business, there are broader considerations which you need to take into account before you sign up for a digital signing solution or any other digital solution and roll it out across your company. You need to make sure that you're choosing the right provider. In this day and age, you may be shocked to learn that 43% of all cyber attacks in Malaysia go after small businesses, and that there are 14 cyber attacks per day. So what can we do as business owners to counter this? To address these questions, we've put together an esteemed panel who will be addressing this question from the point of view of legality, or the legal profession, information security, and they'll be joined by Mr. Edward Law as well. So on that note, let's please welcome Mr. Krishna Rajagopal, the Group CEO of Akati Consulting Group, and James Lee from James Lee & Pang Advocates and Solicitors for a panel discussion. Take it away, guys.
Hi guys. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome back.
Hi, morning.
Morning. All right. So I just, to the audience, have you ever doubt that, whether your signatures, either web ink, handwritten, or even electronic signature are safe? And the question is, do you ever counterfeit anyone else's signature? To be very honest to you all, I did it. I did counterfeit my mom's signature once during my schooling time. I'm sure you know why, right? The report card. I did not even, to show it to my mom. So, I just counterfeit my mom's signature and it passed, my teacher never even aware that it's not from my mom, right? So I'm not sure. Maybe some of you may have a similar experience like me. And with today technology advancement, certainly a well-implemented e-signature system can possibly ensure for higher level of security and trust. But of course, you do not want just to listen to the man who keep trying to promote SigningCloud, right? So that's why today, let us listen to the two gentlemen that with us today. Let's welcome James and Krishna, two gentlemen that come with completely different background. To James, he is the partners of James Lee and Pang. He's a UK law graduate with more than 12 years experience being a lawyer in Malaysia. He's not only a lawyer, but also a highly tech-savvy person. Welcome, James. And to Krishna, he is the group CEO of Akati Consulting Group, with local offices in Malaysia, Singapore, Sri Lanka, Mexico, and Nigeria. And he is not just a very famous white-hat hackers and tester, but also a highly experienced forensic investigator and expert witness who involved in many high-profile cases internationally. So thank you to Krishna and thank you to James, both of them, to spare their time with us today. Okay, let us start our panel session. As the COVID-19 pandemic has certainly changed the way we live and the way we do business due to the lockdown and the SOP. So the first question to James, as a legal practitioner in Malaysia, how would you see the challenges of client engagement for legal methods during this pandemic? How you get your client to sign on any legal document during MCO? Maybe James, you can take this question.
Sure. At the moment now, during the pandemic, in terms of client engagement, we do not foresee much issue with that because we can still hold discussions with our clients through emails and also virtual meetings. However, in terms of our new clients, it will be difficult for us to identify their identity because we couldn't conduct any more face-to-face meetings with them. So what we normally do is we will ask for supporting documents to verify their identity in place of that. And in terms of legal execution of documents, of course, the main challenge we face is our inability to witness their signature. So that had posed a great challenge to us in our industry. Of course, we do consider electronic signatures, but that again is also subject to the acceptability by certain government authorities. Like for instance, the Inland Revenue, for purposes of stamping, they do accept electronically signed documents because we can also perform the stamping online. However, when it comes to land matters, real estate matters, the land authorities will still insist on wet ink signature even until today.
Yeah, definitely. I believe, in order for our country, for any country to move forward to achieve the target of full digital transformation, certainly, I believe there also will be some amendment on our existing act and regulation will be needed. For instance, like maybe a new e-stamping act, which eventually will be fully accepting electronic form of the submission, and probably maybe for the witnesses point of anchor, perhaps the e-notary act can be something also much needed, right? That will be able to help to support the goals of moving towards digital transformation. Okay, James, since you just now mentioned you are also considering, I'm not sure whether to your legal firm already adopted any electronics or digital signature, and why?
Okay, in terms of administration matters, we have adopted electronic signature since the pandemic. For instance, issuing of invoices and issuing of receipts to our clients, we have been using electronic signatures and we no longer have hard copies anymore. However, in terms of our clients' documents, like for instance, execution of corporate agreements and all, we will still consider on a case-to-case basis because, again, it is subject to the acceptability by certain authorities, and we will not risk that. So we would normally check and see the nature of the matter.
Thank you, James.
Yeah.
So I believe probably the reason why many businesses have yet to start adopting digital signature is because many of them are still worried about how reliable can it be, and also now when we actually start touching on the cybersecurity topic, I'm sure Krishna could be the best person here who can share with us from his cybersecurity expert point of view. So to Krishna, as a famous, and highly experienced cybersecurity forensic investigator, with clientele globally, just want to ask, have you ever come across any cybersecurity fraud that involve counterfeit electronic signature? And if you do, we'll be pleased, to hear from you, to share with us, and so that for us and also to for the benefits of our audience to learn from your past experiences. Krishna?
Sure, Edward. Thank you so much. I think yes. To answer the question, although very limited in nature, but yes, we did come across some fraud involving electronic signatures, and if I were to group them into categories, I would say they're predominantly three categories, right? The first is frauds that stem from weak endpoint protection, or laptops or desktops or servers that are not protected. Some of them maybe do not have an antivirus or things like that. So an attacker can, infect the malware, right? One of the main things that we've seen is there was a malware known as a rogue browser helper object, right? Which masqueraded an extension on the browser, and also while installing himself, installed a fake rogue root CA, right, which was a class 3 VeriSign CA. So it sort of eliminated any untrusted or fake CA popping up on the machine. Now that's one. So I would say that's a malware-based thing, right? That's one category of attacks that we've seen. Second one is, of course, the going back to the age-old story of the chain is only as strong as the weakest link. And unfortunately, Edward, me and you, everyone joining this call today, the end users like us, we are the weakest link. So sometimes not knowing whether am I clicking on the right document, so clicking on a wrong document, falling in for a e-signature phishing scam, those kind of stuff we've seen along the way. And that is again going back to end user awareness, right? And the third one is around, we've seen cases that revolve around very nifty, very classy attacks that go into what we call as document tampering attacks. So they go in and tamper the documents that has been signed. So these are generally the three types of categories that I've seen in the last maybe 12 to 18 months.
Yeah, thank you, Krishna. Definitely, I believe the cyber threat is definitely that we need to do more awareness, to the users, end users, and I definitely agree with you. Endpoint is definitely one anchor that this that we need to pay attention to. And in fact, I still remember a few years back, right? There is a big incident happened where the Bangladesh central bank has been badly hit, right, due to the man-in-the-middle attack. And where the hackers what they did is actually they actually just try to change the payee, right, and also the amount of a payment instruction sent from the central bank. And it was actually involved a few $100 million that eventually stolen by the bad guys. So imagine the same thing may happen if, let's say, a document that you have been signed digitally and do not actually have the ability to with a tamper-proof, protection. All right. So it will be possibility, some bad guys can just actually try to change. For example, change the figure from 100,000 to 1 million, change supposed to pay to James, but change to Edward Law, right? So then I will get the money, right? So imagine if for the Bangladesh case, if the international payment switch have implemented digital signature into their system, right, then perhaps the system will never be happen. So back to Krishna. Yeah. So what could be actually the most common attack that you think, on top of what you actually shared just now, that were possible to happen to the e-signature industry?
Thanks, Edward. I will echo what you just mentioned.
Yeah.
Starting with the tampering of attacks, tampering of documents, and just like if the central bank of Bangladesh had some mechanism like that, that incident wouldn't have been that badly damaged, right? Although they had a stroke of luck, the attackers wanted to steal 1 billion. They forgot to count the number of zeros, so they went away with 101 million instead of 1 billion. Right? Bad timing for messing up with your maths. But nevertheless, in terms of the major type of attacks in e-signature industry, one of the hottest things we're seeing today is where we're seeing threat actors abusing two unique vulnerabilities, right? One is known as the EAA, that's the evil annotation attack, and the other one is known as a SSA, right? The sneaky signature attack, right? And one's targeting a P3 certified documents, the other one's targeting P2 certified documents. But these group of attacks are coming in more and more, and predominantly they're targeting environments where the system doesn't have a mechanism to do tamper proofing, right? And it's so prevalent now that they're actually new class. They've given a new name for it. They've called them shadow attacks. And basically what happens is I'm the signer. I sign. I get a document. I review it. I sign it. I agree to pay Edward 5,000, right? And then what happens is that in the middle, in between, before it reaches Edward, right, the hackers modify that amount, temper the document, and then sends it off. And when Edward receives it, the document is still intact. The only thing is that certain elements within that document are now different, right? And hackers generally do this with either hiding something in the document or replacing something, a field, for example, from $100,000 to $1,000, for example, or 1,000 to 100,000, right? Replacing an element, or doing both. We call it as a hide and replace mechanism, right? Where they're basically the container of the actual document still remains the same, so it still shows signed, everything is okay, but inside of it, the content is changed. And this generally works on systems that do not have tamper proofing. So that is something that's very, very key, and that's very prevalent right now.
Yeah.
So these, I would say, one of the biggest attack trends, Edward.
Yeah. So, Krishna, other than, of course, the template proving mechanism, that to prevent it, what kind of others additional countermeasure that we should take into consideration, to defend against those potential cyber attack? Yeah.
Sure, Edward. So I would like to say that, to start off, that not all platforms are created equal, right? As end users, we all want to think that, they're all the same technologically. The only difference is the interface and the price, but we are wrong, right? There are major fundamental technological difference between these platforms. And some of the key things we got to remember when you're selecting or choosing the right solution is, number one, making sure that you have, obviously, in the beginning, I did mention about the endpoint protection, having good antivirus, blah, blah, blah. That's very important, right? But the second thing is looking for a solution that is not just targeted to one single certificate authority, but looking at a solution that is a little bit more open. Because in the example that I just gave you, if there was a compromise, right? Last year we heard there was a configuration error with Let's Encrypt certificate authority. So they had to recall, 3 million certificates, right? So if that kind of a situation happens with the certificate authority and your solution only works on one certificate authority, you're in trouble, right? So look for an open system. That's first. Second, make sure the system actually has very strong multi-factor authentication. So 2FA is an absolute must, I would say. And then, of course, looking at some solution that does just discussed earlier. And I think one of the key things that sort of like, the icing on the cake, I would say, is that to look at a technology that makes use of a very old but rock solid technology, which is called PKI, right? If your technology uses or embraces PKI, public key infrastructure, right, the underlying foundation of that solution becomes rock solid. Right now, a lot of them use some method of just hashing some content and doing it and just slapping their signature on top at the end. But look for a solution that does full PKI. That would be very, very important. And then, of course, look at how they store the keys of your documents that are being signed. Ensure that they are actually using a hardware-based encryption module, or we call it as HSM. Right, that is very, very, very important for cryptographical sound storage of your keys. So I would say this is some of the key things. And again, in a nutshell, making sure that the system has multi-layered encryption, different levels of encryption, making sure that they are having strong 2FA, having multi-layered parameter security, and having a strong HSM. These are some of the key things I would say that sort of differentiates one system or solution from another.
Yeah, thank you, Krishna. And just for the benefits to the audience, public key infrastructures, or in short PKI, it's not something new. In fact, in our day-to-day life, right, there are many applications have been actually adopted PKI. I'll give you an example. like our e-tax filing, all of us working adult, when we actually do our tax filing to LSDM, when we click submit, right, is actually also performing the PKI, be high. Our e-passport, our passport is actually also protected by PKI. Our EMV credit card is protected by PKI. And another good example, if you actually go to any website, you HTTPS with the additional S, and you will see there is actually a cert. So basically, even that also are using PKI. So actually, PKI is not something really new, like what Krishna mentioned, but PKI have been long proven to be a very reliable security mechanism that can actually achieve very strong mutual authentication and encryption without having any share secret. You don't need to share password, right? So you can actually prevent better against the man in the middle attack. And again, whenever there is actually any cyber threat, there will surely be solution to protect against it, like what Krishna mentioned. And there are also still many e-signature solutions out there that have equipped with very strong defense against all those potential attack. So of course, SigningCloud is one of them. SigningCloud is one of them, all right? And not only we actually equipped with strong identity verification using our eKYC technology, at the same time also we provide strong two-factor authentication so that we can achieve not just what you know, but also what you have, right? So something that you hold on. So to make sure whenever you try to initiate digital signature, you actually are safely validated, right? And in SigningCloud, basically, we are fully utilizing hardware level for all the cryptography operation and also crypto key storage. Okay, and like Krishna mentioned, we take security at our top priority. That even we also implemented multi-layer encryption, even making sure that even the systems as admin of SigningCloud were never able to access and view any of the document of our customers. Okay, so with all this, and we believe, right, that a service provider, a digital signing service provider that really invested, into proper security implementation is really one of the important consideration. Okay, and I believe there are still more benefits than threats, right? So just like internet, as we all know, by connecting to internet, it also means making us to expose to more threats because hackers can then get touch on us and able to access our information, especially like social media. But it doesn't stop us to continue enjoying the benefits of internet, continue engage with the social media, right? So James, although digital signature may still new to many, but Malaysia, as we all know, it is actually the first country in Southeast Asia, okay, that introduced our Digital Signature Act back in 1997. And I believe there are already many applications already using digital signature or even qualified digital signature. So just wanted to ask whether do you come across any legal related application that already adopted digital signature?
Yes, Edward. The first would be the Companies Commission of Malaysia. We call it CCM. They have already adopted digital signatures in issuing certified documents to the public, and they also have a website to allow users to actually authenticate or to check the validity of the certified documents as well. And besides that, for our Malaysian courts, we also have the electronic filing system where lawyers are able to sign court documents and to file it directly to the court using their platform. And these are all supported by licensed CA as well.
Cool. So, yeah, I think there are many. Even let's say talk about non-legal, like in Malaysia, e-Polehan, the government e-procurement platform. They have been long adopted, PKI and GPKI, actually driven by Mampu in Malaysia. That is actually also facilitating the PKI for the government sectors, right? And James, as a lawyer who have been actually dealing with law and regulation, right? And in Malaysia, we understand that there are two acts that actually related to e-signature. First one is actually the E-Commerce Act 2006, and the other one is actually the Digital Signature Act 1997. So, but I think, for the benefit of the audience, perhaps James, you can try to share with us a little bit more about these two acts and perhaps what are the differences, the key differences between these two. Thank you, James.
Sure, Albert. All right. First, we have the Electronic Commerce Act 2006. So this deals with the legal recognition of electronic message in commercial transactions. All right. And by commercial transactions, the scope is relatively wide. It can cover supply, sale and purchase of goods and services, and even certain commercial contracts as well, like for instance, shareholders agreement or even employment agreement. All right. At the same time, the Act also specifically excluded its applicability to certain matters whereby you have to use wet ink signatures. And these are powers of attorney, will, trust, and negotiable instruments. So for these four categories of matter, you cannot use electronic signature in the execution of documents. So under the ECA, it allows for the creation of a contract. So any transformation of message by way of electronic means, it can be legal and valid under the law. All right. And of course, under the ECA, there are also certain requirements for an electronic signature to be valid and binding. So the first one will be the electronic signature itself must be attached to the document that you're going to sign, and the electronic signature must identify the user who is signing it, and the electronic signature must be reliable as it's appropriate. It means to say that the means of creating that signature must be under the control of the user, and that document, once it is signed, it cannot be altered in any event. So that is the feature of an electronic signature under the ECA. All right. So in terms of digital signature, we have the Digital Signatures Act 1997, and this governs the legal recognition of digital signature. And as Edward mentioned earlier, digital signature basically is a transformation of message using the asymmetric crypto system, where you have the secured key pair, first being the public key, and the other one would be the private key, which is held by the signer himself. So the Digital Signature Act recognizes digital signature here, and in order for it to be valid, binding, and enforceable, there are certain criteria to be fulfilled under the Act. The first will be the digital signature must be verified by the public key, which is listed in the digital certificate issued by a licensee in Malaysia. Secondly, the digital signature must be attached to the message itself, to the document, and indicates the signer's intention to sign the document. And the third feature here will be the recipient must have no knowledge at all that the signer doesn't have the right to hold a private key or had breached its undertakings as a subscriber for the digital certificate. So once these criteria are fulfilled, and if the document is signed with the digital signature, it is valid and binding under the Act. So looking at the comparison as between both Act and also the both signatures, for electronic signature, it is a much more convenient way of signing a document, as it doesn't require any verification by an independent CA, because so long as it is affixed to the message, affixed to the document, and it identifies the signer, and the platform doesn't allow the signature to be altered or the document to be altered once it is signed, it is deemed as valid under the ECA. On the other side, under the DSA, the Digital Signature Act, it provides a greater security level, because the signature that you initiate you'll be verified by an independent licensed CA. Yeah. So these are the key distinctions.
Thank you, James, for for the legal explanation. Yeah, for DSA, or in short, DSA 1997 definitely not only is more secure, but also because under the act, right, the trusted CA is actually work as an independent neutral party that will actually verify a person before they issue the digital ID or digital certificate. And remember, what the biggest advantage I would say is in the event where there's any dispute happen, right, in the future, then when we actually bring the case to the court, the trusted CA can be a very strong forensic witness that eventually will be able to facilitate very strong evidence to the court to saying that, hey, James, this is we have done the verification on James and we have issued to him the digital certificate and he have, authorized, the digital signature, at what time and where and so on. So with that in evidence, definitely will strengthen, the protection, okay, for the signers, okay, in the legal aspect, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, yes, by adopting e-signature into your business dealing, is confirmed, right, will be protected under Malaysia law. And generally, it can be protected either by a much loosened e-commerce act, or if you wanted to sign on more serious, right, or legal documents, then of course you need to consider qualified digital signature, right? And then with that, for sure, you can actually achieve a very strong legal binding for your business dealing. And moving to the last question, all right, to the last question that I would like to actually open to both gentlemen, James and Krishna, before we move on to the Q&A session. I saw there are some good questions already keep coming in. Thank you very much. Last question to both. What will be your advice, okay, or tips, right, to the audience when they are considering of adopting any option of the e-signature in the future? Either one of you can start first.
Sure. I think the first factor that the public should consider will be the nature of the transaction. As I mentioned earlier, under the Electronic Commerce Act 2006, there are certain categories of matters where electronic signature is not usable. For instance, powers of attorney, wills, trusts, and negotiable instruments such as checks and promissory notes. So where these matters are concerned, you shouldn't be considering electronic signature because these are not valid under the Malaysian Electronic Commerce Act. The second will be the acceptability of the document. The parties will need to consider as well, once the document is signed, does it need to be submitted to any authorities? And if they do, then they should consult them to see whether electronically signed document is acceptable, or they still insist on wet ink signature like the Land Office in Malaysia. And the third will be the importance of the document. For instance, if we are looking at internal administration documents like maybe your employment agreement, purchase order, or even any internal memo within the organization, you can adopt e-signature for convenience reason. However, if there's any document which involves substantial liability or substantial consideration, then digital signature should be considered.
Thank you, James. Krishna?
For me, I think I would just, like to reiterate that, make the right choice when it comes to your e-signature solution you're going to adopt, because not all platforms are equal, right? So the same things that I mentioned earlier, right? It's very, very key. The second thing is that from a digital transformation point of view, I have personally seen that the smaller companies embrace this much better, right? Especially during this pandemic. The bigger companies are still figuring out, where is my driver, where is my dispatch, where can I send this guy, or we cannot start this project because we still haven't signed. So they're still struggling, right? Even in the retail segment, we can see that the larger brands are struggling going online, whereas your smaller shops are nimble and agile and they're onto the e-com platform straight away. So I think in the future, we really can't run away from this digital transformation, right? So we need to look for, first of all, let's accept the fact we have to go this direction, right? And if you don't want to do that, we have all had a friend at some point in time who insisted that they will always use a BlackBerry phone with a keyboard and they will never use one of those touchscreen phones. And look at them today, they're all using either an Android and iOS. So the technology will bring us there. We just have to pick the right solution and remember that not all platforms are equal. That's my point.
Thank you very much, Krishna and James. With that, I would like to end the panelists and let us take the Q&A sessions. Here, I thank you very much and pass it back to Jonathan.
All right. Thank you very much. Good to join you guys. And you know what? You guys are only halfway through because we've got a lot of questions for you guys to answer and some really good ones as well. In fact, we have 777 people online today. So thank you to everyone who joined us this morning. I'd first like to open up the first question here. An interesting one. We've talked about CAs and Chan asks, WC Chan asks, does the signer also have to obtain his cert from the CA even for a one-time signature? And would that involve an additional cost on the signer's side? Edward, I'll let you sign this one.
Yeah. Let me take this question. Chan, basically, the way we actually try to work on the SigningCloud is with the ambition to actually promoting, the adoption, the mass adoption for digital signature. This is why we also try to bring, a new way, a new business models that in the past, if any users wanted to perform qualified digital signature, they have to acquire a digital certificate from one of the 4 trusted CA in Malaysia. You have to pay annually. You have to buy the cert, as an annually basis, right? But now with SigningCloud, in order for you to perform qualified digital signature, okay, you can either go for a monthly cert or per signature. Okay, so monthly cert will be much more suitable for regular signer. So meaning if you are a user that you are expecting sign 4, 5 or more DSA document every month, is actually much more cost effective for you to go for the monthly cert, right? But if in the event, you were expecting some outsider or even some of your staff, once a while, they need to sign on the DSA document. For example, let's say a loan agreement, leasing agreement, right? That you actually require some of your client that maybe they only sign it once in a lifetime or once, within few years. So you actually can go for the per signature basis. So for the per signature basis, the trusted CA will then actually issue you a short-term cert. Okay, a short-term cert, and we actually charging you according to the numbers of signature that require per document. So this pay-per-use model will certainly able, to reduce the concern of many businesses to start, adopting qualified digital signature because they do not require to actually have the default commitment of 1 year cert, whereby the irregular signer maybe only just need to sign, a couple of documents once in a lifetime, right? So I hope they answer to Chan.
All right. I think we've got a couple more similar kind of questions, which I'll put to you, Edward. And this next one is from Ana Beatriz Austria Risadio. And she says, do you provide an e-certificate after the session or this session?
I am not quite clear about the question, but if you actually referring, you look at SigningCloud, right? Basically, when someone trying to create a document, right, the first thing the system will ask you whether you want to perform an e-signature. That if, let's say, referring to Malaysia, that will be actually comply to E-Commerce Act, or qualified digital signature. That will be in Malaysia, for instance, will be actually complying to DSA, Digital Signature Act 1997. So whether it's e-signature or qualified digital signature, both, okay, we are also signing using digital ID, right? For the signature, basically the signer will be signed using SigningCloud ID, whereby for the qualified digital signature, it will be signed using the ID issued by the trusted CA. So the certificate will be provided, okay, for the signer to perform the signature.
I hope that
Thank
answered
you.
your question, Anna. And if you have any further questions, Anna, please feel free to put it into the chat box, and I'm sure we can address that for you a little bit later. One more for you, Edward. A barrage of questions for you. Everyone's so interested. Chin1 says, I would like to implement SigningCloud on premise. Is this possible?
Yeah, okay. Offer both SaaS model, software as a service on a cloud hosted model, like what you actually see at the signingcloud.com. But at the same time, we are also offering on-prem implementation for our customers, right? So especially for some big organization that actually they require, the digital signing platform to be actually implemented at their own premises, right? Due to some security policy, for example, like some bank, for example, some government agency, yeah, we do that, right? So Chinwan, please drop us an email and our sales will get in touch with you.
All right. So moving away from some product questions right now to some bigger questions now surrounding information security and the legal profession when it comes to digital signing. I've got a question for you, Krishna. It comes from Vichitra Nades, and he says, in your opinion, how has the adoption of electronic signatures impacted the threat of cyber attacks, be it positively or negatively? What do you have to say to that?
Right. Thanks, Jonathan. I think from basic common sense, I would want to believe that a large scale of people would be scared of electronic signatures because of cyber threats, but I'm wrong, right? Even though we see a lot of cyber threats happening, cyber attacks happening, we are seeing adoption of digital signatures growing at a rampant rate. Right. I think it's very similar to the fact that, we all know that, credit card fraud can happen, but we can't live without, ATM cards and credit cards these days, right? So same concept. Although we are seeing growth rates differ from region to region, right? There are certain regions in the world that are growing at a much faster rate than in all honesty, as a complete picture, I think it's not that much of an impact from a cyber attack perspective. But the pandemic has got a massive impact, right? The pandemic is really a knock on people's head to say you should have adopted e-signatures much earlier, right?
Yeah.
That has a massive impact.
Right. So it depends market to market. Of course, in each and every market, there will be the early adopters and there will be the laggards. And the laggards may have some very valid concerns. So I think the question that may be on a lot of people's minds today is, if I'm a small business owner, I see the value in digital transformation, but I just have a very visceral reaction to the security concerns. How can you ease my concerns about digital signing and about digital transformation in general? What would you say to those people?
Well, I would say that let's go back to a completely non-technical comparison, right? We go back to how easy it was for Edward to forge his mom's signature, right? If you look at traditional signatures, they are way much easier for fraudulent transactions, right? From a forensic point of view, we know multiple methods, right? Where you can see how they hold the pen, how they jitter, how the curves are. It's very easy to forge real signatures on wet ink, right? And we compare that to a digital signature. I'm not saying that because I'm a technical guy or a cybersecurity person. I'm saying that as a normal layman, I think it's more difficult to forge a digital signature than it is for a physical signature. Right? For those who don't agree, look at Leonardo DiCaprio in Catch Me If You Can. Right? That's a real world story right there. Right?
Good one.
There you go. And to all our 755 attendees, you now have a ready-made explanation for all your friends and business associates as well. Okay, a couple questions for James here. Firstly, to you, James, Amy asks, what are some of the common examples of repudiation involving signatures that you have seen in your career thus far?
Okay, the most common ones would be electronic signatures done by email. I have clients coming to me and telling me that, look, we have some problem with our transactions here, and we somehow authorized or made payment um, at the request of our directors. And when they try to verify that, their directors told them that, look, I didn't send out these emails. So these emails could have been initiated by someone other than the director, and it could be for a bad motive. So these are electronic messages, but yet someone could actually tamper with it. And of course, next would be forgery of red ink signatures as well. So for this, somehow or rather, if someone were to forge your signature, and one day you will notice that, oh, how come my property is gone because of this? Yeah. So these are the common examples involving land matters where our signatures are being forged.
And following on from that, Wong also has a question for you, James. He says, hi, James. I'm in HR. Can we use e-signatures for contracts and agreements, example, for employment or business purposes? Is the digitally signed docs legally valid? I think you may have answered this in a way a little bit earlier, but if you could just repeat it again. He goes on to say that the lockdown now makes it hard for us to comply with the hard copies and signatures.
Yes, to address Wong's query here, you can certainly use digital signatures for contracts and agreements for employment and business purposes, so long as it doesn't fall within one of the 4 categories that I mentioned earlier, which are the excluded matters.
Right. And would you mind just recapping again what those 4 categories are, just so we're all clear?
Yeah. For digital signature, so long as it is verified by a public key that is listed in your digital signature, and it is attached to the agreement, and and you are not aware that the recipient is not aware that the signer had breached any of its undertakings or does not rightfully hold the private key, then it is deemed as valid under the law. So these are the 3 criteria under the Act.
Thank you, James. I'm still going to stay with you, James, here because we have something a bit more of a philosophical question for you. So it's still quite early in the morning. But Saranjina Gupta says, hi, James. As an expert in one of the oldest and most rigid professions in the world, you may have come across many clients or potential clients who are more comfortable with traditional methods of processes, such as wet ink signing for their contracts. Why do you think certain folks are hesitant to embrace digitization for day-to-day processes? Seems that the pandemic has forced people to adapt, but if not for the pandemic, do you think Malaysia or the world in general would have been as digitally advanced as we are today? Guys, feel free to all jump in on this one.
Okay, I believe the pandemic adds on to the use of digital means in terms of documentation. And yes, most of our clients as well, they would prefer the traditional method because it is much easier by just signing it. Probably they'll just scan and email it to us. All right. But because of the security reason, the use of digital signature will be encouraged. And one of the reasons why they are still hesitant with this, it could be due to cost factor. Yep. Probably they feel they need to register with the licensee, and therefore there's additional cost to them. So they feel that if I'm only going to do it once, but why should I do it? So if I'm looking at long term, then yes, I may consider.
Right. Edward, anything to add on there?
Yeah, maybe let me add a little bit. I think it's also come back sometime to the people mentality, right? For instance, when those e-hearing application like Uber and Grab when they first started, how many of us really believe that this will work, right? If we actually do believe and we actually started something similar, probably today we are very good. So, but today, right? Even you look at some of the old folks, that who do not believe, and they definitely, few generation, older than me, but they already enjoying using the app, not just for e-hearing, but also for food, for food delivery, right? For the convenience, especially during the lockdown. So I think certainly the pandemic is here, and we all have to accept that the new normal will be with us for quite some time moving forward, for quite some time. So if let's say any businesses or any users do not try to change the way they do, they will be losing out. For example, right, when the MCO once started, many restaurants are still not ready for food delivery, right? But if you are looking at MCO3, right?
Yeah.
So basically, if you are still not accepting it and follow the traditional way, probably you won't be in the business very soon, right? So I think that is also important to see, and we definitely seeing that the momentum, the positive momentum due to the pandemic. In fact, in our team, we even just within our team, we do receive tremendous increase of interest, from enterprises in many different size.
Sure.
Thanks.
The days of scanning and signing and then sending back by fax are definitely over and done with.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got a couple more closing questions here, and I think just good at this point to bring it back to the product, which people are clearly showing a lot of interest to. So I'm going to put this to you, Edward, if I could. And I think some of these questions may have been addressed in some way, but good to clear it up at this point. Antonio says, he asks, is it necessary for both parties, both signing parties, to have the SigningCloud platform downloaded for the authentication of the signature? What if, for example, only one party has a platform? Is it still considered authentic?
No. Okay, you see, because SigningCloud, right, we actually design and build fully based on public key infrastructures. Whether you actually sign with e-signature, right, that will be issue a SigningCloud ID, or if you actually perform qualified digital signature, where the ID will be issued by the trusted CA after going through legit eKYC, right, the digital customer identity verification. So in order to achieve that, we definitely requires, okay, the signers to actually have an account with the SigningCloud. But like I highlighted with the new features or key and enhancement that we have for SigningCloud version 2, where we have incorporated the new account sign up process, right, into the signature request. If the signer is a first time signer, probably they will involve just a simple few more steps, right, which will then allow the first time signer to sign up a new account, review the document, and sign just within the same process. So basically, I would say you can still able to get anyone else, to be on board and sign the document with quite a seamless experience.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
So the barriers to entry are not as high as some might expect for a new signer.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to put this last question to you as well, Edward. I already know the answer to this question, but I'd like you to say it just to reinforce the point. And I think also a good closing statement from you as well. This comes from Lo Kwan Sin. Kwan Sin asks, how is SigningCloud tamper-proof? And does this mean that my documents cannot be meddled with?
Very good. So, okay, how the mechanism work is that, after all the signer have completed signing a document, right? Our system will actually then lock the document, okay, by performing some public key cryptography, okay, some mathematic, computation, right? That eventually to hash the document, to lock the document, so that in the event, right, if anyone try to modify any, even in a single digit or single line of it, right, it will be detected. How to detect it? Because the document is already in a PDF form that you may have already emailed, okay, or share through WhatsApp to somebody else. So the easy way of to verify is just using, one of those common PDF viewing tools, for example, like Adobe Acrobat Viewer. All right, then you will be able to check. You're able to see those template document will eventually showing invalid signature. Invalid signature. So with that, okay, we can actually ensure for tamper-proof. If anyone try to change anything, it will be detected.
And it will show that it is invalid, the signature.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And from what I've read, that also includes your own backend team, right? Nobody can actually edit that document once it's on the platform. So,
yes.
All right. Guys, I've done many Q&As in my life, but I don't think there have been many as active and as relevant as this one. So I'd just like to thank you all once again. Edward, do you have a few more words you'd like to say to our big audience here today before we move on?
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. I hope you guys have enjoyed the sessions, right? And if you have any further question, feel free to reach out to us, right? And lastly, I seriously wanted to encourage everyone that out there, go to signingcloud.com or go to download the SigningCloud app and start experiencing the limitless digital signing experiences like Jonathan mentioned at no cost. Okay, so let's try it. All right. So with that, pass back to you, Jonathan.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Edward. Thank you, James. Thank you, Krishna, for your insights today.
Thank you, James, Krishna. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ren.
So there you go. Edward has just introduced it very well. I was going to give you a summary of all of the benefits, but you know what? He did it better than any of us ever could. So there's only one more thing to do, guys. Just head on over to the QR code, scan there, download the app, try out that limitless signing experience for yourself. Now, there's of course a bigger conversation to be had around security, digital security to be exact. While digital signing is a great solution for businesses, there remains the issue of online hackers at large. As we mentioned earlier, 43% of all cyber attacks in Malaysia are on small businesses. There are 14 cyber attacks per day, and Malaysia is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the global scene. The long and the short of it is, the minute you're on a digital platform, you are at risk in new ways. Now, last week, Winston Liu, a renowned TEDx curator, host, and coach, hosted a session on this exact topic. It was a TED Circle community discussion, and it was attended by various TEDx speakers who shared their insights, as well as well-known people within their field who had a lot of other insights to share when it comes to digital security. Let's tune in and see what went down.
Online hackers, am I at risk? And if we are at risk, what do we do about it?
As a parent, feeling ill-equipped and outpaced by my kids in an arena where I feel they're unsafe causes me anxiety.
As our young ones are getting older, they have so much access to the cyber world, to technology. How do we keep them safe?
The whole cybersecurity thing, I think it reduces us to becoming like we were when we were children. You spend your whole childhood kind of blindly just saying, well, I've got to trust, I got to believe that mommy and daddy are going to take care of everything because I can't take care of myself. I'm a child. And to me, with cybersecurity, it's the same thing.
When we are doing event, we do have a lot of online purchase. I'm very aware about these things happen.
As a user, I think one of the biggest concerns we have is transparency. We are agreeing to a lot of risk, perhaps, and sharing our information and not fully understanding how it's being used.
I've worked in the financial services industry for over 15 years, and we see a lot of attempts by people to try and fudge money.
Stuff like fraudulent transactions, account takeovers. And I think that really opened my eyes into sort of like what is cybercrime, or like what kind of crime happens on these kind of tech platforms.
Cybersecurity is like serves as our immune system. So a lot of people doesn't take that seriously. It's just like a lot of people doesn't take their health seriously. It might affect us not in a biological way, but in other different ways.
Am I too late? Like not even have the awareness that this is really something that is constantly happening around me, that I'm not learning more things to protect myself, you know?
Are we ready for that kind of safetyness? Whether we are ready for the kind of security, whether we are ready for another government in the cyberspace for us, or we want to stay freely, across the space, but having the risk, right?
Maybe cybersecurity, cyber hacking, and it's a little bit like drugs was in the 1960s, right? There has to be kind of like, it has to happen in their arena to their people before that young generation in 10 years become the people who take it seriously and teach the world and make us take it seriously.
The difficult thing for a lot of people is that it's just that the possibilities of all these illegal acts just seem so limitless.
All we can do is instead of reflecting on what kind of like freedom we've already lost versus control, and
to really know what they can do to us and what they can't do to us really makes a lot of difference in terms of like how much you need to protect yourself.
Obviously, it's not up for discussion. So I think like cyber attack threatens our freedom to express ourselves and our right to maintain our private life and private communication.
I don't think anyone across the globe can say that I'm safe and I don't need to worry about it. It is this space where we constantly need to update and learn more.
How do we balance ourselves with the convenience with and the surveillance with the privacy that we are giving up on through the social media platform, the digital technology and devices that we have now today?
We have to catch up. This cybersecurity is not easy, but we have to also allow ourselves to be exposed, to be understand. Like digital signature is one of the things. We have to, the privacy of our own information, we have to allow it so that we can get the conveniences as well.
There are multiple stakeholders and it's quite a complex scenario. It's not a single, nicely summarized in one sentence and put a bow on it problem at all. Are we ready to give up all the convenience for the safety, right? The anonymity is the freedom. And then when you give it up and you get the safety, you're not anonymous anymore.
Our awareness about digital signatures and digital certificates needs to be improved a little bit. Keeping your eye out on the things that are happening. You don't really need to know in terms of like the details and whatnot, but just so that you are informed and you can make good decisions based on that.
Definitely some fundamental questions that we all need to reckon with, not just now, but many years into the future. And I think the one that really stood out to me was, how much of our security are we willing to give up to be anonymous? The answer is not that simple. It's a very personal answer. Of course, there is a much bigger, more current problem happening around the world that goes far beyond the digital realm alone, and that is the COVID-19 pandemic and the impact that it's had on individuals and communities. So in tandem with today's event, SigningCloud has pledged to donate 20,000 ringgit to Kita Fund. Kita Fund is a crowdfunding platform that focuses exclusively on humanitarian and medical causes, including supporting communities and individuals impacted by the COVID-19 crisis. Now, in addition to the donation that we have pledged, we'd like you to join us in making a pledge, not a financial pledge, just a pledge of your support towards this very worthy cause through a digital signature. And by giving us your digital signature, we will increase the amount that we pledge towards Kita Fund. So the more of your support that we generously receive, the more that we will be able to support these at-risk communities and families. And to do so, please scan the QR code that is now on the screen. It's big and wide. Just scan that and you'll head towards the event page, which you can also just input into your browser right now. That is event.signingcloud.com/CSR if you do not have a QR code scanner. I'll say it again, event.signingcloud.com/CSR, an extremely worthy cause, a chance for you to try out digital signatures for yourself if you haven't done so already and see just how effective the platform is, but more importantly, a chance to support our efforts to help families and communities at risk at this very trying time. I thank you in advance for taking the time to support that. We're going to follow up with an email to the email address which we've received when you registered for this event, and we'll also include the link to support this campaign. And on that note, I think we've come to the end of today's event. Thank you so much, everyone, for your participation, waking up early to be here, for your very enthusiastic questions, and for showing an interest in what digital signing and digital security in general could mean for you and your business. I think if there's any takeaway from it today, it is that, yes, the security is very important. And with version 2 of SigningCloud, they're definitely stepping up efforts. However, the bigger picture here is that this is not only a security solution alone, it is also a gateway to transform your business digitally. It could provide the means for you to conduct cross-border transactions and create legal documents that are actually valid and enforceable not only in Malaysia, but all across the world. And on top of that, it unlocks just a more efficient and greener way of operating your business. So on that note, on behalf of everyone at SigningCloud, including our CEO, Mr. Edward Law, thank you once again for being here. Make sure that you head on over to signingcloud.com, learn more, sign up, try out our free package, and stay safe online. I've been Jonathan Case, your MC, saying thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Do you still rely on traditional signing for your important documents? It's time for a change. SigningCloud is an all-round universal signing platform for professionals from all walks of life, ranging from legal, financial, governmental, and real estate sectors, as well as any other industries. SigningCloud proudly supports multiple electronic Know Your Customer (eKYC) and Certificate Authority (CA) providers with plans to expand further in the future. The traditional way of getting documents signed is way too slow, costly, and tedious. SigningCloud helps simplify your signing process, making it easy, breezy, and hassle-free. With just a few simple clicks, your documents can be viewed, checked, and signed. Thanks to digital signing, users can e-sign their documents securely. And with ease, SigningCloud helps you save paper, time, and resources. Your document security and confidentiality is a top priority for us, so fret not about protecting your sensitive information. SigningCloud is specially engineered to keep all of its users' information secure and safe by adhering to the strictest security standards in the industry. SigningCloud allows its users to sign documents electronically in conformity with the Electronic Commerce Act 2006 and Digital Signature Act 1997 in Malaysia. Not sure if the e-signature generated by a SigningCloud adheres to your country's local laws and regulations? Just check with us. SigningCloud uses strong two-factor authentication to verify the authenticity of signers. The platform is also equipped with multi-layered encryption to ensure that your data security is always maintained. Here's how to get started. Step 1. First, choose your document type. Upload your documents to SigningCloud. Step 2. Add your document's recipients, including yourself if you're a signer too. Then place the necessary fields. Step 3. Click Send and your recipients will receive the documents for secure signing. Once all signers have completed the process, SigningCloud's tamper-proof features ensure that your document is locked and any changes are easily detectable using a common PDF viewing tool. Enjoy an unlimited document and unlimited signer experience at SigningCloud. From contracts to deals to agreements. Signed, sealed, and delivered in just a few simple steps. Ready to get started? Go to signingcloud.com and sign with confidence.
SigningCloud. Sign with confidence.